Israel, A Concise History of a Nation Reborn by Daniel Gordis. People have heated arguments about the Middle East, and the loud chants and accusations tend to drown out what is actually happening. That's why I appreciated this book, because he effectively delivers the story of how Israel got to where it is today. So because this book is told from a Jewish perspective, he goes back thousands of years to when the area was first settled and the covenants with God made at that time about this particular piece of land, the importance of land, and so on. And I kind of already knew about that. Then he gets into the 1800s, and it gets into a lot of territory that I really didn't know much of anything about. Jews have been persecuted for centuries, and this book shares a lot of examples, especially from Russia and Eastern Europe in the 1800s when they were attacked, they were killed, their houses were burned, and the law enforcement and the law would kind of look the other way because they were Jews. And you get the sense of them being second-class people and kind of taking it. And this led to a rise in the Jewish mind that there needs to be a state where they can be free from this persecution. It's sad that for all the persecution that they went through, they left Russia and Eastern Europe to escape persecution and ended up in Germany before the rise of the Third Reich. So it's just one sad story after another. The idea of forming a state, though, wasn't widely accepted. I thought it was interesting in the book. He talks about all the different perspectives, and even within the Jewish people, not all of them wanted to have a state. Like, they thought it would be a bad idea. So I like in this book, he talks about the arguments that different people made and how attitudes shifted and how people were persuaded and how we ended up with the Jewish state as it is in Israel today. The political history around this is fascinating too, because you have the Ottoman Empire having to deal with these large migrations of Jewish people coming into the Middle East in the 1890s and trying to figure out what to do with them. And then after World War I, you have the British people who have taken over the area, and they're trying to figure out what to do with the Arabs and increasing amount of Jewish people currently there and trying to immigrate there. So they have to try to restrict immigration, and it's just a mess of how to handle foreign policy, because no matter what you do, you're going to make someone really upset. So this book was helpful in putting Israel's nationhood in context of the times and in the main players who were involved. Before I read this book, I've heard of the 6 Days War, the Yom Kippur War, and a sense of geography of what the different areas are, but I didn't have a solid grasp on it. But after reading this book, it's a lot clearer to me what happened, where, and when. So the state of Israel has had a short history, but in that history it has had extreme ups and downs, and its future is still far from certain. I think the one thing I can safely predict about Israel is that people will be arguing about it for the next several decades. I don't think there's an end in sight, and that's a scary thing. People are eager to pick sides and to have loud arguments about who's right and who's wrong. But I think the key to cutting through the noise of these arguments is to understand the history and context of the topic. And that's where I think this book succeeds. So I give it 4.5 stars.